there was no time, so
Yes.
I just did that.
Today,
It is
today you can.
actually,
Today you can.
yeah. Um, See, I know this. I read somewhere that this heavens, what you're explaining, the lower heavens can be accessed by the higher heavenly people, but there is some exceptions. Somewhere like the four great kings that heaven that they can go to Tautim's heaven, the second that where Saka is there, but all the this Tautim's heaven, they cannot go into the higher heavens, but they all can come down. That's the reason Buddha went to that Tautim's heaven for teaching his mother, because from the Tusida heaven, this people can come there and get into that teaching. So am I correct? But then there is another thing, like what you're saying, like humans can see the animal lamb, but they can't see this preda, ghost, and all, which is inferior heavens. So can you put some kind of comments
Yeah,
on that?
sure. Ashwin had sent one sutta regarding Uposatta. In that, Chatu Maharajaka, they go to Sakka and complain that the humans are not doing Uposatta in a proper way. So it talks about Ashtami and 14th day and 15th day of Uposatta. So you'll, you'll get in that case two Ashtami, that is the 8th day, then there is 14th day, then 15th day. So it becomes like in a month, if you take, then you get one full moon, one new moon, then one day prior to full moon, one day prior to new moon, and on the 8th day. And so there are 8 days. So it's like 6 days gone in this whole process. So that's what it said in that sutta. In that sutta is four kings go and meet the Sakka, and they say who is doing and who is not doing. So then Sakka will say that you'll become like me if you do, etc., etc. And then Buddha says that's the most inferior way of saying. That's not for what reason you do Uposatta. So there's a lot of explanation. The reason why I told you this is that in that sutta itself, a Chatu Maharajaka can go and access the Swatavatimsa. So it's possible. One. Two is that what we can see in this realm, in this orbit, first we need to understand that before we go down, up, wherever. If we think there are people, well, no, don't worry, I'll send you that sutta. Ashwin already knows it, so I'll send it. Or he will send, I will send, somebody will send it to you, so don't worry. Okay. So that's not a primary thing. The primary thing is that what we can see and what we can't see and what we can see near us. Okay. So one example I can give you, Bobby, there is one sutta where the wardens of the hell, they come to take life of a person. And before doing that, they ask this question: did you see a messenger arriving? And that person says no. Then he says, what kind of a stupid person are you? Didn't I send a messenger which is called aging? You're seeing that you are aging and you're also seeing others aging. On what basis did you see that you will not age, others will age? That's the first messenger. Anyway, you are done what you are supposed to do. Then, did you see another messenger? He says, first one itself I have not seen. What about the second message? Did you see anybody dying? And that's another messenger whom I had sent to show you that life is very frugal and futile. You can't stay for long. So, didn't you really do something about it? So, what it gives us, Bobby, is that Whether we have heaven or hell, that's not a primary concern. The primary concern is, are you certain that you will be reborn in that place? And that's a concern what we should have. So we need to do something about it to be reborn in that place. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. Meaning, at least as a human realm, can you be reborn in a human realm? Or are we taking it as for granted? Nothing is for granted. So first we need to see that. How to see it? There are four ways of seeing, just like the example of the messenger. Number one, if there are certain people who are indulgent, should you spend time with them? And the answer is no. Even they are in your own house, even though they are part of your own family, we shouldn't. Why? Because take these two messengers. One is old age, disease, and death. So you shouldn't. I shouldn't. Anybody shouldn't. Why? Because we have the same nature of getting destroyed because we already accumulated it. So that person will be triggering it. And when he triggers it, and then what happens? We will get reborn in that place instead of the place where we wanted it to be. So we need to be very careful. Okay. Now, it's not a question of whether Tavatimsa or this person can go there, that person can go there. That's there. First primary thing. As human, we get good people, we get bad people. We get miserable people, we get heavenly people. We get all kind of people. And all of those people started from Abhasara only. They didn't start anywhere else. Just like they have lost track, we have also lost. So when we make friendship, our relationship, or they are our own family members, the aspect we need to see is that, are we going in that direction? Yeah, Ashwin has sent it to you. That's a Maharaj Sutta. So basically, we need to be serious about this, that uncertainty is the truth. Nobody can be certain that he will be reborn in this place or that place or whatever place. Why? The dying moment, what comes, we can't say. And nobody can say. The only thing you can do is to create conditions so that only that will come. Right? That's the only thing we can do. As an example, tonight I'm leaving, or today afternoon I'm leaving, so I'm practicing the questions, even though it looks stupid. It looks so wonderfully stupid that there is a question, there's an answer, there's a question, there's an answer for a visa. I would say, easy. No, can't take it lightly. Can't take it lightly. I have to practice so that when the person is standing in front of you, or the person sitting in front of you, and he asks questions, the sati will be there to exactly answer what is required instead of answering this or that and getting caught up in some kind of explanation. That's a practice. And we are also doing the same kind of practice, that we are removing immoral qualities, we are developing moral qualities, we are trying to have the sila and or samadhi and all of that. Because you can make uncertain kind of certain by bringing in the right condition. Otherwise, it can land anywhere. Like if I go to the embassy, they can ask any question. And I can say it depends at that point in time. No. So basically, we need to do something like that. For everything, there should be a practice. We need to develop. So in human realm, we get four kinds of, which is there in the suttas. First kind of people who are very serious and they mean what they do. This first kind of people. Second kind of people, they are not serious, but they want to do something and they don't know. Third kind of people, they are neither serious nor they know what to do. Fourth kind of people, they are neither serious of what they want to do, nor they can guide anyone to do what they should be doing. They will misguide that person, basically. These four kind of individuals. In these four kind of individuals, the first kind of individual is the best, and hence is called Kalyana Mitra, because he knows what to do and he's very serious of doing. If you get someone who is serious and this, you can drop off the other three because he's working for your own benefit. How about the second one? Second one requires guidance, but he's serious. And the other two can be faithfully dropped off. So in this four, you would get people who are bound towards heaven. There are people who are bound to the same existence. There are people who are bound to lower existence. People as in beings, that's simple as that. They have a human form, but their mentality is like an animal or like a preta, like a niraya, like an asura. Who is an asura? Sura means divine. Asura is non-divine. That means that person doesn't mind doing anything for a living. So what is written in Titayatana Sutta, random, just happens. I don't believe there's the next life and this one, that one. Are those asura? So they don't have goodness. They get it, they think it is theirs. And they do anything to get it. And they are envious all the time. Yep. So they have good amount of abhijja, good amount of vyapada. And hence they are in the fourth realm. They can't get into human realm. Now that means that orbit. In human orbit, you have all the three. You have moha, you have raga, you have dvesha, but different quantities, and hence we can see those kind of beings who are bound lower or bound higher. So you make friendship with those who are higher, just drop them who are lower. They're sucking up your energy. You know that you're going lower. If you're gaining energy, it means that you are going higher. So ensure that you are with people who will take you high rather than take the first thing we need to do in human realm. It can be my own wife. She's going down. I can't do anything. Be away. Talk to her in a way that doesn't cause concern to you or to her. I might have my own daughter, my son, or my whoever. My parents itself might be like that. Nothing I can do because they are bound from karma. So kamma bandhu, kamma sakha, kamma yoni. So we can't do anything. Kamma bandhu is a kamma is a relative. Kamma yoni is from the womb where you have come. Kamma sakha is the friend. Kamma is a friend. So nothing anybody can do. No matter how much I wish good for that person, can't do anything. So we need to understand this. So we can go higher, we can go lower. Now when it comes to higher, that's what we are talking about. How many realms are there? Because we start this whole discussion started because of what Brahma can do or what, whether it can be a female, male, and so many discussions have happened on this subject. So it's good to understand first the realms. Then we can find out whether it's a male means what, a female means what, and all of that. If we don't have an idea of realms itself, it becomes quite a complicated exercise. Just goes in circle. I was seeing that we are going in circle on this subject, trying to make it real, that a female is real, a male is real, or something like that. There is no reality in that. It's just a body taken over by the consciousness. But the body, the consciousness is bound to that body. So, like I was talking about the Bible, as perfectly written, there's no doubt whether Adam and Eve existed in that way or not is not the question. Question is, what do you get as a message? If you eat a forbidden fruit, you'll end up in trouble. That's exactly what it is showing. That the God has cursed both Adam and Eve, get lost from Garden of Eden. It is true. So now that woman has to suffer, and the man has to suffer as well to maintain that family. So that we can see right now as we speak, we can see that. So we are not able to give up the family possession, family and the possession. And the woman is not going to give up her children. She thinks it is her children. And she keeps on menstruating. And she keeps on having pain. Every month, menstrual cycle brings in both mind swings, that is, mood swings, and then tremendous pain, back pain to all kind of pain. And for no reason, month on month, that person, that being, has to suffer. It can be seen. You don't have to really go somewhere. It can be seen. And the man who produced, let's say, daughter or whatever, see these daughters suffering in front of him, and his wife also suffering. He can't do anything about it. Can he get out of this? No. He's locked. So are they. And that's exactly the curses that you had the forbidden fruit. The Garden of Eden is what? Take it as a heaven or a Brahma realm or whatever it is, or the Abhasar, if at all you want to take that. And from there, where are we? We are in a place where we have to keep on searching for food. Keep on searching for food endlessly. And nothing we can do. Just see this. So now we come to the Sugata, meaning the Deva realms, good existence, starting with Tatu Maharajaka. So, what are the deeds supporting that is that, like in that sutta, what Ashwin has said, they keep on doing moral in terms of discipline. They're more disciplined, and hence they take that kind of life. Say they take it too seriously, too literally, and they start practicing it. And then they fulfill the minor precept, like the first few precept what Buddha talks about, and then they ensure that the moral code is not broken even for a minute. So 50 years of human life becomes one day there in the Uposatta Sutta. So if we add up all of it, it gives a huge number of day. Then we come into the Tavatimsa. Here, it's act of generosity. There are two kinds of generosity, dana One is just like what Anathapindika did. So he went into Tavatimsa heaven, and which is exactly the sutta what Bobby you had shared. Then he comes from Deva realm and talks to Ananda and Sariputta and all that. So he went into Tavatimsa realm because of his generosity. And there's a second kind of generosity which is Dhamma. So both of them produce the same result. The only caveat here is the person who is giving the Dhamma dana should be minimum Sotapanna. If by chance the person is not a Sotapanna and he's just reading from the books or whatever it is, it doesn't help him. It just gives him some punya phala, but not the one what we are talking about, which can lead him to the Tavatimsa place. Yep. So both danas are accepted. One is material, another one is Dhamma. And again, the virtues here is relation to understanding Buddha Dhamma Sangha, so they don't forget it. If you have very strong faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha and you are doing a lot of dana, means you are bound for Tavatim. So in Chatu Maharajaka and also in the Tavatimsa, who comes against you not doing it? The first enemy is greed. You should have chanda, not greed, because it is kama bhumi only. You are still in the kama bhumi. You are not exhausted from the kama bhumi. In all likelihood, you will be pulled back to human realm. Meaning, example, I could give you from what is happening today. Ariu has donated, gifted so many things. It so happens I get pulled by that. I feel so happy for Ariu, but I get so dependent. Even if I can buy it myself, I will ask you to do it in the name of dana. So for Aryu, it might not really matter. He might be more than willing to do it. But that becomes a barrier for me. So I need to do an equal amount of dana to get it going. Like what we just now did in terms of buying the property or meditation center. I could have said, okay, it's your problem. You want the land and do it. I didn't have to spend or I didn't have to donate. But this is a right opportunity to donate. So I'm doing both donation. I'm doing financial donations because I can afford it. I'm doing Dhammadana. So both taken together is not just a punya phala. So what comes is the greed. So I should watch out whether some kind of greed is coming that, okay, Aryu can give or somebody can give. So why they can't just keep on giving to me? I will not be aware that I'm taking debt from them in the name of dana. Never do that. I shouldn't do it. Okay, so I need to be careful. Okay. Then comes moha, more than dvesha, delusion. I'm deluded to believe that I'm a very great person because in a very short time, so many people have been donating and we bought a property, so many things are happening, etc. etc. So doesn't it make me intoxicated by that, what is happening? So the delusion picks over. So I need to be careful with these two, delusion and greed, because these two can come in between what I want to get into Tavatim. That means if I am not getting greed or if I am not deluded, at the dying moment, they don't come. I'm practicing all the time. Even at the time of death of Buddha, if you remember, he went in through all the 8 jhanas. He did everything, even in that pain time, so that it gets exhausted. That is a level I need to have, right? That's what we are trying to do. I need to be aware. So that's about Tavatimsa. Then we come into the Yamadeva. They are joyful and have moral values. So now, in human world, we can see those people who bring in joy to others. If you meet them, you feel joyous. Just check. Can be within your own relationship, your wife or children, son, daughter, whatever it is, friends, or some stranger, whatever. You feel so joyous being with them. Nothing has happened. Actually, you just met that person and brief encounter, and he's gone, you're gone, or she's gone, you're gone. But that gives you a lasting impression of being joyous. If it's true, that being is bound for yama. So all this can be seen in the present human world itself. Don't have to die to see where it would go or where you are going also. This is something can be seen right here, right now. So Buddha Dhamma is not about any future imagination that this world, that world, how it will be, and nothing like that. You can see it right here, how your mind is and how people associate with you. If you have a good mind, it brings in good people. If you have a bad mind, you get bad people because it is dependent. Situations comes in such a way that you will get what you reap. You sow what you reap. So nothing anybody can do. So basically, it's not about feeling that whether I am bound for that destination or not. Right now, you can see. So the four bad destinations can be seen right here, right now. If I have something bad in my mind, situation will come where it starts burning inside me. So basically, it burns outside and then it starts burning inside. Outside situation makes me burn inside. Simple as that. But if from Chatu Maharajaka to what we are talking about, it becomes cool and cool and cool. So you become more and more moral restraint. So as we go up, morality increases. As we go down, morality decreases. And human level is where you have moral, immoral, both. So it can either flip off to down or it can go up. So you can't rely on anyone. That's the reason Buddha says, Attahi attano nato. You are your own master. Nobody can do anything to you. If you believe somebody is going to do anything to you, you are mistaken. Nobody can do anything to you. So you need to exit out of those people, those situations, those relationship. That has happened because I have that kind of nature. Just don't react to it. Just come. Just leave it. Just leave it. Don't do anything. It goes away. So one bad thing came and went away. So I'll just tell you one small story. A few days ago, myself, my wife, and my mother-in-law, we had gone to a bank and we were driving back home. One child, some 7, 8 year old, was having his bike. So he didn't get the um, what we can say balance, and he threw the bike on my car. And I had to immediately put an emergency brake. I stopped it, but nothing happened to him. But it caught cycles or the bike's front wheel. So there was one guy who was watching this. Generally in India, if you get into these kind of things, there will be heated argument. and then there'll be fist fight to everything happening around. But the fun part is he never got out of the car, and that fellow blasted that child. Are you out of your mind? And then that child took its cycle or the bike, it left and we left. The small damaged car, it's okay. Yes, the damage is there, but there's no damage to the child or to you or anything. Yes, there is something which came, situation came. What you do in that situation is dependent upon whether you are bound to hell or to heaven. And that we can see in every situation, every given situation, how we react. We react based upon we are going towards hell or to heaven. We were to take that as a whole thing rather than individually, whether it's going to go to the Preta or to the Niraya or to the Tirachayoni or to the Asura or to the Manusa, like that. We can see it. And what's about Manusa? Anausa. Well, I was talking about the three brain. If you're using two brains, which is a reptilian brain and a mammal brain, it means you are not a human. Basically, 99% of us doesn't even come under a human category. We are either reacting based upon our past impressions, so there's always fear, so flight and fright response, or we have mammalian kind of thing where we have this food, search for food, first thing, then create a territory. You don't allow anybody to come into the territory. Three is have a family, and fourth is sex. And that's it. Nothing beyond this. And if you see the entire ads, they only target these four in one way or the other. All the eateries, food, all. Okay. Whether it is Western, whether it's Indian, Thai, Chinese, this, continental, you name it. Just keep on eating like a pig. And there are people who are called foodies. That means they have a mind which is going towards animal existence. Then the question comes, should you be with a foodie? Run away. Because if you have impression of foodie, in your past life you were an animal, you would start liking sooner or later. Get out of people who are foodies. Then there are people who are territorial driven. They mark the territory like an animal. They keep on marking. Do you want a territory? Yes, I need a territory. The moment you need a territory, you are in either one of the three levels of existence, either in hell or in Peta or in the animal. Only those three can make territories, and they die out of making those territories. Then take the relations. That is, you create relationship, or it is family, mammalistic tendency, not a human, mammal. Because after territory comes my family, me and my family. So they are deluded, and that delusion is very hard to break. So they're again bound lower. Then the last one, which Buddha says, the misery of everything, is methuna or abrahmacharya. That will never take you up. We are bound between human existence to the lower and again back to human existence and back to lower. The cycle. This samsarana is what can be termed as lowest samsara. Crude, a very crude way of living. And that's what we are doing. No matter whether we have refrigeration system, we have nice vehicles, we have this, I mean, all that for the body. It's not to do with anything else. So we have markings everywhere, this place and that place, this one, that food. Keep on symbolizing, so that the marking doesn't go. You keep on creating marking. And those people who do it more and more, you want to escape this, better be away from. Now we are going up and up. As we go up, we find people who are very pleasing, very pleasing by looks, very pleasing by nature. So you come into the Tavatimsa people, you feel very joyous. And that experience is more with Yamadeva. Then we come to Tusita. This is a very nice place. If you find a contented person, completely content, surrendered, it doesn't have any wants, he's a saint. Tusita. Tusi means content. Tusita means highly content. So now you have person who is content, and that person is called a Santa. Etan Santan, Etan Panitam, right? So that Santam, Santa, is so peaceful, was only content. It's there even in the Samanya Palasutta, Santosa, contentment. Tusita, Santosa, equivalent word to say is contented. So this Deva is content, perfect contentment. And that is when the Bodhisattva or Bodhisattva takes birth, meaning they come there, waiting to become future Buddha. Okay, so to get into that is this: they have so much of generosity towards the teachers and mentors that they become future teachers and they revere Dhamma. Yes. So this contentment is such that like an ocean of content, nothing which they feel lacks. There's no lacking. So if someone gets in contact with them for few days, he will not feel hungry just by the presence of that person. Stop feeling hungry, because hunger is a disease. More hunger starts when you are in lower realm. Less hunger starts higher realm. Simple. So if you are able to sustain with one food without feeling exhausted, it means you started going up. If you require more amount of morsels of food, very clear indication you're going down. So tusita is a state of existence where you don't require food. And those people who come in contact with this person feel as though full, they're filled up. That's the reason you get contentment, right? It's content, meaning you don't feel anything. You don't feel like drinking, you don't feel like eating, you just want to be with that person. Another way to see. It's all can be seen within human realm only, because that is where they are heading to. So if you get in touch with them, you go there. That's how it works. So we get situations to go up. We get situations. It's up to us what we want to do with it. So we want to go there or you want to come down. So at human, like a junction, can make up happen or down happen, because we have both. We have both punya phala and papa phala. We can do a mix of both. which we have done already. So something bad is going to happen, something good is also going. As an example, some examples will help. Now, today, had I not been on Dhamma, I won't have met anybody called Ashwin, who surprisingly stays in Chennai, the place where I'm going for the interview. And there was no need for me to apply for US visa if I had not met Aryu. And Aryu wouldn't have met me if I was not on Dhamma. You see this whole relationship, right? Now you see this fun. Job wise, I was going and it ended in the year 2011 12. After 11, I've never flown to US. It's gone. Now, again, going to embassy is fine. Okay, Aryu is calling is fine. But then why should somebody come and pick me up and take to his home, then again be with me, again drop me back? Why? You can see it, right? It's not it's going to happen with everyone. There are people who land up in Chennai, they get lost, they get robbed, they get mobbed, they lose their documents, they lose their passports, and there are these tuk-tuk drivers who flees, and you might get you might eat something, you get stomach upset, ensuring that you don't go visa, or even if you go to the visa, that officer is going to ask you 100 different questions, ultimately rejecting your application. But there's no guarantee, right? So the situation, if you really see, if you're good, you get good. If you're bad, you have to struggle. Even though that person might get the visa in the end, okay, fine, but he struggled it. He has literally struggled it. So we can see in our normal working, normal living, we can see it. Forget about whether heaven, hell, or whatever. We can see it. We can penetrate it. And then when we penetrate it, we can see it's true. It certainly is true. It's not something fabricated. So if we get in touch with a tusita, contented, and if you are contented, like when I go to Chennai and then I'm contented, so it you are spreading that to the other person also, because he's another person bound up or bound down. You make that person life more easy. Things will work better because content. So you can see, oh, this person is content. Whatever he gets, he's happy with. That's the reason Buddha says, always be contented with what you have. The reason is you land up in tusita. Don't forget it. You be happy with what you have, little or more, doesn't make any difference. But don't blame anyone if they are not contented. That's okay. But they are bound to where they are bound to. You can only change yours. Attahi attano nato. That's all what you can do. Nobody can do anything for anyone. You can say once, you can say twice. But if they are uncontented, discontent, leave them alone. Why you want to spoil your thing for somebody? This makes no sense. Because you are bound to tusita. That doesn't mean that everyone is bound to tusita. Right? We need to be very clear. Then we come to the next realm is Nimmanarati Deva. Nimmana, created. Rati, enjoyment. Deva, who enjoy in their own creation. So from now onwards, because of contentment, they become more and more and more joyous content as they go up. But they have creative power. Just like we took an example, like if you can take Steve Jobs or any company which has got created, there's a creation or the wealth creation or whatever we want to call. There's person who can think beyond a normal person and he creates. So there is a creative power that person can create. It can be in technology or machinery or whatever it is, but we create. Yes, there are followers of that creation and there is a creator. Like we are following Apple product, but there is someone who created it in the first place. Nobody could think like Steve Jobs. There's good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. Nobody could think in that way. Like in the case of Larry Page, Google, nobody could think in his way except for his friend. He might have been doing good, bad, ugly, whatever. That doesn't change the way seeing things. So they started Alphabet. So that's how Google, all of that thing is. If you see, I might be working for Google, but that doesn't make me anything because I'm just a follower. I couldn't create anything. I'm creating something for that product, but I couldn't create anything on my own. So Nimmanarati is the one who creates. So right now, as we speak, there are humans who can create and they enjoy their creation. And we call them as what? We can call them as scientists, inventors, and whatever. What do they get? They get huge sum of money. They have huge property and they enjoy their creation. I'm not saying that, oh, everyone who is rich like that. Yes, to get that, they have created something. Please remember, they might lose it later. That's okay. But aren't they having it? Yes, Bob.
So it looks like now the creation, that power of creation is superior quality than contentment. But normally, the people who are seeing in human world, who has created this type of wonderful things, they don't seem to be contented.
That is separate. See, like I said, in human, you have both. You have good and bad. So, Bobby, good question is that you get both of those streams coming together. Please understand, there's no thing called as a human. We call it as a human, but there is no real absolute person called human. So if you think we are human beings just for conventional purposes, you have got nothing to do being human. The consciousness has taken an arbitrary thing of human. It's in that orbit. But it can also be in Deva, it can be in Brahma, it can be anywhere. Anyway, I need to leave. Somebody come to the house. Anyway, I wanted to leave at 9:30 today. Someone at the door, and my wife was saying, once they come, you're stopping. I said, okay, promise, because I didn't want to stop this, our discussion. We'll continue on this Thursday. I hope that is fine with all of you. So we will, and a very good question, Bobby. Appreciate your question. Don't forget, we have goodness in us, bad in us. We have both. We can be a deva, we can also go to hell. Both are. So sometimes those people who create ultimately get greedy, so they start suffering, so they get discontented. And then you know the whole thing, right? They're never contented with but initially when they created, they would be so happy. From Marie Curie to so many scientists, Einstein or all of that, when they created, they would be happy, but slowly they get discontent. So we have that power of creation. Otherwise, they would have been there in the Deva world. But the very fact you have both flowing, So you will have this problem. Okay, so good day and good night to all of you.